My clothing brand just blew up because I figured out how to take TikTok and use it to market a clothing brand and make money with it, starting with absolutely $0. I'm gonna show you everything that I did, how I actually sourced the product, how I made the designs, how I actually marketed the product, which is the most important thing. And then now that we've made some money, what are the next steps into building this into a real clothing brand? So this all started because I saw a couple of 18-year-olds making a ton of money with clothing brands. I mean, these guys were absolutely going crazy. I mean, they were buying their parents' cars, buying houses. They looked like they were living the life. And so I thought, well, if they could do all of that with a clothing brand, I could at least figure out how to make, 10, 20K with a clothing brand. It can't be that hard. And so I started getting into the clothing brand thing. Started watching a bunch of YouTube videos, started talking to some Chinese suppliers. And after some time, I realized that to actually build a clothing brand was gonna cost me a couple $1,000s, as well as 1 to 2 months of getting samples, checking samples, talking to suppliers, just so I can get my inventory. So 2 months just to get started, which for me didn't make sense. I basically thought, what if I could build the clothing brand quickly? What if I could get the designs, get the marketing, build the community all right now, build that up, make some money with that, and then once I know that I know what I'm doing, how to market, how to build a community, how to make good designs, then spend thousands of dollars on building the clothing brand. Basically, I was gonna do what all the tech companies do. Basically build an MVP, a minimum viable product. Basically build something small that you can use to test demand. See if people are even interested in what you're doing. See if you're even capable of doing what you think you're gonna do. I mean, why spend thousands on an untested idea when you can test the idea and then be confident in spending thousands of dollars? At least that's the way that I thought about it. And so that's why I started with print on demand. I know if you're a real clothing brand person, you hate it. But honestly, I kind of look at it like this. If you can't even sell a print on demand t-shirt, then what makes you think you can be able to sell it when you have hundreds of MOQs? Now, if you don't know what print on demand is, it's essentially where you get a third-party company. In my case, it was Printify. But basically, they're gonna design, store, and ship your design to all your customers. Now, because of this, the profit margins are gonna be pretty low because, I mean, realistically, you're not doing any of the work. You're paying someone else to do all the work for you. But the thing is, at least for me at the time, I didn't really care about profits. For me at the time, all I cared about was if I even knew what I was doing, if I knew how to market, if I knew what to do to get to the next level. And then once I could prove that to myself, then I could turn this into a real brand.
Look, if you're gonna be building a clothing brand like this, you eventually realize that you're going to need a website. Not just for products, but something more custom. A website that can host exclusive drops, collect signups, even run a waitlist system. Most of the tools that do that are either super limited or way too complicated. And that's not the case with today's sponsor, Hostinga Horizons. I'm not even exaggerating. These guys are the best. It's like ChatGPT, but for websites. You just open up the AI chat for your website and then you type in your idea. Like, I want a clean site for my streetwear brand with a sign up form and a drop countdown. And boom, it gives you a working version in seconds. Then you can tweak it with things like AI. Change the layout, change the colors, add pages, and it's all no code and all visual. You don't need to touch a single line of code. And when you're happy, you literally go live with one click. No third-party headaches, no complicated setups, everything you need in one spot. Hosting, domains, even branded emails. Plus, they have a 24/7 customer support that actually replies. And the worst case scenario doesn't exist because they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Whether you're building a brand, a portfolio, or just testing ideas, Hostinga Horizons makes it feel effortless. Try it today for free. And if you want more features, you can use my code, Capital Tycoon, to get 10% off your first month. The link will be in the description.
So the brand that I started was called Club First. It was all about winning, basically just win. It was a brand built to inspire you to basically become a winner yourself. And at this point, I basically made a bunch of designs. I built up my own website, put those designs on the website, and I was basically building a real brand. Now it was time for the important stuff. Marketing. This was the stuff that was able to actually take that clothing brand and turn it into real cash. At first, we had a pretty decent marketing strategy that I think was okay. Basically, it was ideating, editing, and then uploading motivational videos on Instagram Reels. If you've been on Instagram Reels, you've probably seen a bunch of these like motivational videos. My idea was simple. I was gonna upload those exact same motivational Reels, get up millions of views on those Reels, and then drive those Reels views into my websites where some people would actually buy. That was the idea, and it didn't work. And after uploading as many videos as humanly possible, literally every single day, uploading videos on his Instagram account, it didn't work. Basically, getting millions of views on motivational videos was a lot harder than I actually had anticipated. And so, yeah. But what did work was actually going onto other clothing brands in a similar niche to myself and actually just following a bunch of people in a similar niche as my clothing brand. I'd follow like hundreds of people. I'm talking 300, 400, 500 different people. About 100 of them would follow me back, go onto my website, and actually one of them decided to buy our design from our website. This was pretty decent. decent. It showed that at least that there's someone who believed in our design. But it was completely unsustainable. I mean, you can't build a real clothing brand when your marketing strategy is following hundreds of different people. I needed to figure out a better way to actually market my product or my design. And so what I started doing was refining the Instagram Reels technique that I was using. Essentially, instead of just uploading random motivational videos, what I decided to do was start uploading motivational videos of specific athletes. I'm talking Michael Jordan, Conor McGregor, or whatever. And then at the end of those motivational videos, I would actually put a t-shirt of that athlete on the Instagram Reel. This was supposed to make people actually want to buy my t-shirts, because I mean, in the past, all they would see is motivational videos and that's all they were interested in. But at least this time, they would see my t-shirts and that might make them interested in buying my t-shirts. Idea was still the same. Millions of views, people see our t-shirts, go on our websites and buy our t-shirts. That was the marketing strategy at the time. And so I just uploaded as many videos as humanly possible and no sales. Yeah, we just didn't get any sales whatsoever. I mean, these videos were getting 200 views, 1,000 views, 2,000 views, nothing good at all. I mean, I was spending hours editing these videos day after day and no sales whatsoever. And so at that point, I definitely did think about quitting or like stopping the entire challenge, because realistically speaking, we were spending hours making these videos and they were leading to literally no return on the investment, no return on the time investment. But more importantly than that, I was kind of getting stressed. I mean, I basically built a YouTube series about me building a clothing brand, and here I was not being able to actually build the clothing brand that I told everyone I was going to build. I mean, the videos were picking up some views, 10, 20, 30,000 views. People seeing me try something and absolutely fail at it terribly. I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of feel a little bit embarrassing to be failing so aggressively in public. Obviously, everything ended up working out in the end, but before we even get into that, there was a big question that everyone was asking, which was all this legal? I mean, is it legal to sell t-shirts of famous celebrities? And honestly, at first, I thought this was 100% legal, because at first I thought, well, celebrities can't really own the rights to their faces. But as I read more of the comments, started doing a little bit more of my own research, I realized that actually I was completely wrong. Celebrities definitely own the rights to their faces, and what we were doing was definitely going to get us in trouble if we carried on doing it in the exact same way. And so what was my strategy? What was my idea? What was the thing that I was gonna do that was going to fix this whole thing? Well, basically, I was gonna do the thing that I've always done, the thing that you need to do if you want to be successful. The fact is, you can't be successful if you're gonna copy everyone else. You need to be different. You need to have an edge. You need to push the boundaries of what people think is acceptable if you want to be successful yourself. Realistically, if you do what everyone else is doing, you will be like everyone else. And if that's what you want, cool. But if that's not what you want, then you need to push the boundaries. And so what did I do? Simple. I took a page out of the tech billionaire's playbook. Essentially, if you want to build a successful company, you have to live in the gray area. You can't live in the white or the black. You have to live in that gray area where no one is really sure about what you're doing, but what you're doing is working. Some people call it the gray area, some people call it the blue ocean strategy, some people call it a competitive advantage. I don't care what you call it, but that's what it is. I mean, look at Uber. Uber was probably legitimately an illegal company in its beginning years. I mean, they literally had drivers and they were just not paying them a minimum wage because they said those drivers weren't actually employees. So they got away with not having to pay people a salary, something every company has to pay. They don't have to pay. And now Uber's a billion-dollar company. Gray area. But either way, I still needed to push the boundaries to make sure that what we were doing was not illegal. And so how did I do that? Simple. I added AI into the mix. What's the regulations around AI? Exactly. I also don't know. No one does. And so, gray area. And gray area equals money. What does this mean? Well, initially we were selling t-shirts of just Michael Jordan, which obviously is illegal and you should not do that. But what happens when you take that same image of Michael Jordan, you add a little AI spin to it, and you make it something a little bit vague that's not really Michael Jordan, but is also not really not Michael Jordan, and kind of exists in that gray area. Boom. You now have a non-copyrightable t-shirt business. I won't lie, thinking of ideas that were not going to be copyright infringement but were also good enough to be vague enough to be actually bought by Michael Jordan fans was not easy, but it was worth it. And that's what you need to do if you want to live in the gray, if you want to make money. Now that we had fixed our actual t-shirt problem, now it was literally about fixing the marketing. If we could fix that marketing, again, we could actually cook up cash. And so I did what everyone was telling me in the comments to do. Use TikTok instead of Instagram Reels to market this clothing brand. And so that's what I did. I basically just took the exact same Instagram Reels that we already had and I just uploaded them on TikTok. That's it. You see, the thing about me is that in high school, I was a guy, 16, 17, 18, who had like 20 different Instagram accounts because I was running Instagram theme pages. For me, making money online is closely tied to Instagram. Instagram is the main thing. But I didn't realize the game shifted. The reality is, if you're making short form content right now in 2025 and 2026, you need to be uploading on TikTok. TikTok is the game. And so I uploaded on TikTok. That's what I did. But before that, I bought one of these old TikTok accounts from the TikTok marketplace, paid like a got like 150 bucks for it. And the reason I did that is because you can only put your link on a TikTok account once you get over 1,000 followers. I didn't want to work hard to get that 1,000 followers. I just simply wanted that already. So I bought an account with about 1,000 followers, and then we immediately just started uploading our Instagram Reels on TikTok, and boom, immediately one of our Instagram Reels started getting some views. And honestly, that was it. That's literally all I have to say. The views from the video started driving hundreds of dollars in sales to our website, and I got to keep about over 250 bucks in actual profit from that t-shirt sales of Conor McGregor. If I upped the prices, we definitely could have kept more. If I had stock of the t-shirts myself, I definitely also could have kept more in actual profits, but either way, it worked out. I think this is good enough proof of concept to prove the fact that you probably can build a clothing brand doing what I've just done. Like, if I was 15, had no job, and I just wanted to make a quick, 1 to 2K online, this is exactly what I would do. I would literally just go onto Instagram, find some motivational videos that are getting views, take those videos and just make them a little bit better, upload them on TikTok. At the end of the video, obviously put a t-shirt design, and just keep doing that over and over again. You keep doing that, upload like 100 posts, one of them is gonna get 1 million views, and boom, you cook up your own 1K, 2K in profit. Anyway, see you guys in the next video where I'm probably making a lot more money and doing something a lot easier than starting a clothing brand with close to $0.